Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very, very welcome back to this video. This is the second part of a two-part video, uh, and this was two Japanese penknives that were made by masters in Japan, and that's all I can call them because it's been such a privilege to handle and enjoy them. It's been just beyond my wildest dreams that somebody could send me this standard of a knife just to view. I just, honestly, it blows me away. But this one is on a maker, and I'm going to make a Horlicks of the name. You know I am. But it's Takeshi Matsusuki. Matsusuki. I'm going to go with that. The name's in the title, so you can read it for yourself. God, I'm very bad in English, never mind Japanese. But this is, you're not supposed to have favourites when somebody sends you two knives, but I'm just hoping that Liviu, and this is my mate Liviu who sent them to me, it's Liviu Roberto Prise, and I'm sure I've hashed that name as well. But I just, honestly, to get these sort of things sent to you when you start YouTube, you see other people getting them and you think, I'll never get to that stage. And it's just, this is the pinnacle. When you're getting to see this standard of knife, honestly, blows me away. But Takeshi, or Takeshi, I don't know, Takeshi, he is a master Japanese bladesmith. Whatever you want to put the name, cutler, anything at all, he is just a master. And this is my favourite of the two. And you've seen the first one, so you know how flipping good the first one is. To me, this is just, and it is slight things. It really is. And I'll explain why when we're going through it. But this is my favourite. And then at the end of this, don't go away when I've done this. I'm going to do a quick review of both of them side by side, just so you can see them for one last time before they get back to Liviu. So let's just get started, shall we? Let's just get started. First of all, the sheath is just stunning. It is thick leather. Look at that. And you can see that beautifully. Look how squared off that is at the end. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at the slabs of stag on this. And it's funny, I've done a stag video yesterday, and it must have been in my mind because I didn't realise how many stag knives I had until I got them all out yesterday. So let's just take this out before I start my usual whimpering. But please, just take a wee second and just look at this. Is that not? Have you seen last week's one? Very similar in shape, that gunstock pattern. You can see the gunstock pattern, very similar. I'm not sure whether this is a Japanese version of the gunstock. Well, I suppose it is because it's Japanese and it's a gunstock. So it's the Japanese version of it. But I have other knives that have this exact same shape. But come on. Just look at that. The double bomb shield on there that is just put in there so nicely. Look at that. It disappears when you put it on the side. And it's having that put in the stag. Some people will say you shouldn't put a shield on a stag bone. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them. I think that is gorgeous. I suppose it depends what you're putting in the middle of it and how well it's put in the middle of it. And I think that's the exception. If somebody can do it as well as this, look at that. It's just sitting, it's floating there on top, as if it was sitting on top of a wave. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Single threaded bolster, stainless steel, polished stainless steel on the back, and it is just amazing. Look at the back. I love this because it's got tiny little popcorns all over that stag. I've never seen one as tiny little popcorns in that are complete and just beautiful. Look at that. It is just, I mean, even there's a knack is finding a bit of stag that looks like this. I mean, I'm sure that this is bought individually in little pieces. It's just, it makes me smile. The outline of it, you can see more of the outline of that gunstock pattern there. It's a hint of it, just a hint of it. But it doesn't make it look like anything else. I just think that is stunning. absolutely stunning. And I've had this and I've caressed both of these knives because they're both amazing. But like there's not a slight hint of a gap, not a slight hint that it hasn't been mated up properly. Look at that. That is just precision. I mean, and when you this is stag, which is, something you have to take great care of. I mean, there's just nothing between the metal and the stag. There's no hint of a lip. There's no hint of a little bit that sticks out. Beautiful. I love the spun pins on this here. Just done to perfection. And if I was going to say if I can get you up close, but I can't get you much closer to this. But honestly, you can hunt all day. You will not find anything. You look how even everything is, how straight across it is. All done by hand. All done by hand. The finishing, everything is just gorgeous. And we'll start with the first blade here, which is the beautiful little Wharncliffe at the front. Look at that for a Wharncliffe. And I know I said the last time I was watching it back and I was thinking, why did you say that? It is perfectly straight. It is perfectly straight. And, that's not, again, simple little things, but done right. Just simple little things that are done right. I adore that. This is hand rub satin on the secondary blade. Look at that. You can barely see it. And I can't get it any closer, but you can barely see it. It is so fine. But when you've got it in hand and you're looking at it, my goodness, does it just show you the time and effort that has been put into it. It is stunning. Look at it. It's just amazing. Totally amazing. And I'm starting to find the more that I get these, customized, I actually bought another one this week. Now, it's a much cheaper one, but the hand finishing, when it's done by a human, just with the time and love that it takes to do it, it just makes it so special. Beautiful, tiny little nail nick in there. It's barely noticeable, but yet it fits your thumbnail perfectly. You can just slip it in and it opens up. And again, they're not as... Listen to that. Come on. I'm going to do this too. Listen. Oh, now I wouldn't do that all the time because I'd be frightened, but it's just beautifully done. It really is. It bounces that half stop beautifully. Sergeant Major, straight to attention, and then down. But as a secondary blade, I can think of nothing better because it doesn't matter what you put in the front. This is going to cover all the little jobs that you need to do precision work with. Perfect. Again, the nail nick in here. Let's just get this open. Do you see this blade? Just let you see this blade. I'm a clip point man anyway. Look at that for a beautiful... And again, I love the depth of the blade. I love the geometry of that edge. It is perfect and it is sparkling and it is sharp. That precise, smaller type swedge. And is it on both sides? Yes, it is. Because to me, that's nearly a must because I think it unevens a blade when you just get one side that's done. That side looks no less pretty than the other side. But the thing that sort of really hit me about these is these small nail nicks. I mean, you just put your thumb up to it and, it's flat across the top here and you've no problem putting any size nail in it, even if you're eating away up to the end. That just fits in there absolutely perfect. Yet that little nail nick does not take over the blade whatsoever. It doesn't stand out. It doesn't shine. It's not the star of the show, and neither is it supposed to be. It's a nail nick. And I know you can get beautiful nail nicks, don't get me wrong, but on this, it's just enough to make it look spectacular. It really, really looks spectacular. And again, that hand-ground satin finish, it's just unbelievably adorable. And I'm saying adorable, I'm saying these things about a hand-grind. But again, if you're paying over the 4-figure mark for a knife, these things have to be perfect. It's not like buying, a mid-range 250. Well, I just bought one that's worth about 270. From a custom maker here in the UK, and his knife is absolutely beautiful. over the moon with it. But the differences are minute between that and this, but the overall effect, like I was saying about the nail nick, everything, the overall effect is just outstanding. The standard of the cover material, the complete and utter just fit and finish to die for. Not a gap. Sometimes you'll get, other stag knives, you get a wee bit of black in here where it's sort of sat in the corner and they've had to put a bit of glue just to make it. You don't get that on these custom knives. You get perfection like this. You get perfection. That blade, I just think the overall shape of that is a perfect in-hand use knife. You've got that, it decants down this side here. It's got a square end, but it's softened. Everything's softened. When it goes, I've got a large hand. Look at that knife. Look how beautifully my large hand fits in that knife. It's as if he had taken my palm and put it in there. And I cannot feel the blade underneath my fingers here. Cannot feel it. It's just, look how slimline that is down. Don't feel it. It's perfect. Even to here, and where the blade's here, I don't feel any pressure at all from it. I literally could work all day with this. I can feel the knobbles in the handle, and it's like a security blanket. Like you're not going to slip because that's there. I mean, is many people going to hard use these? Absolutely not. But if you had the money to buy this sort of standard and you were using it, and that's what I review all knives are, they're all meant to be used. They're knives, and I'm sure knife makers will love to see them used. But when it gets to this sort of price range, are you going to use it? Well, for me, the poor man's view, I would, like my Romano, I'll use it, but very, very specifically on what I'm going to use it on and how hard I'm going to use it. But in natural fact, this will just be used more for show, for nipping a tag, cutting a bit of paper. That's what I would use this sort of knife for. And is that a shame? Well, you know something? I used to think, yeah, it's shame having a knife in there if you're not going to use it. And I used to be quite forthright about that, I suppose. But as time goes by, and then you get these sort of knives in your hand, and I've gone up in a really steady progression from very budget I started. I've gone up in a very slow procession. It's been about 7 years of buying knives, selling knives, trading knives, swapping knives, till I've got to the stage now where I have the ability to trade maybe 2 or 3 knives to buy one. And that is my new joy, is getting, and I'll probably not get to this stand. Well, I got Romano, so I mean that's the one. That's my one and only. That'll be my star. But to get to see these sort of knives, it'll be down to the generosity of people, sending them in for review. And Levo has already said he's going to send me some more, and I can't tell him how much that means, because this is my one and only chance to see a variety of incredibly beautiful knives. I don't know whether I never know whether I'm doing a knife justice. Normally when I'm doing a review, the price means nothing, even the Romano, because it was mine. But when it's somebody else's, it makes it, it genuinely makes it special. I'm patting my heart, by the way. I know you can't see that. It just the joy I have had of having these with me now nearly 2 weeks, and I'm sure the man's desperate to have them back, but I'm going to have them out on Tuesday, Levu. Promise you, I'll have them out on Tuesday. First thing, you'll have them back on Wednesday. But I'll give you a wee call, because I want to send them the way that you send them, because I'm petrified. It's just, but my goodness, please, if you're going to make a wee comment, and please make a comment on what you think of this knife, please say thank you to Liviu, Liviu, for doing us the privilege of letting us see his collection, and hopefully we'll see some more in the future. That is my dream, because these are just... Do you know the way I used to say, I just fondle my knives? Some of the biggest pleasures I've had in the knives that I've owned is especially when I've stepped up a grade. And I can just sit with them and fondle them and just do... This here is a worry stone. The handle of a knife is a worry stone. All the different shapes, from the feel of the cold metal to the stag to the popcorn on the stag, which is just outrageously good. And honestly, when it's in your hand, it's not uncomfortable, but it's there and you can feel it, and you feel secure, as if that knife is not going to slip. It's just going to sit where it is there. Just, come on, it's just, and that sound. I'll do it once on this one. I don't like doing this, but this is what a knife should be able to do. Oh, it's just, and Liviu, I promise you, I haven't been doing this off camera. That's why it's hit me with a bang. I wanted to leave it till the end, because all knives should be able to do that. You shouldn't be having to look for a blade wrap at this stage of a knife. But it is a knife where, because it's not mine, I'm going to do that. I have slapped my Romano up and down, trust me. I wouldn't do it to somebody else's. I just wanted to do that on camera so that you know what it sounds like. And it is just fabulous. That sound nearly just, it shows the precision of the cut and the filing of the tang, and just where it goes in. I mean, just look at it. It is just, and like the inside of these knives, this is what really gets me, that bit of class that you have with these. Isn't that a beautiful Wharncliffe? Look at that for two blades. I mean, they're almost the same, so well, it's a bit smaller, but it's two proper working blades there. Two proper working blades. And the inside of these is just beautifully. They're highly polished inside. Not doing a good job. Yeah, there you go. Highly polished. Just beautiful pieces of cutlery. And again, look at this where it comes back over. This is starting to make such sense to me, that why makers would have done that. Because you've got the shorter blade here, and it's just a gap otherwise. I'm really, really enjoying this, where they take the time, and look at how well that's finished with that bone. Look at the mating up there. I mean, that's what you're paying for. That somebody who's got the time to sit and do that until it's absolutely perfect. Small details. Where it's cut off at the end. Look at the symmetry. Look how straight every line is there. Beautiful. Beautiful things that a normal, everyday knife maker probably doesn't have the time to do. And this, well, I know companies don't have the time to do it. Some of them do a really good job, but I mean, this is, when it's done by hand, that fitting up and that mating and that sanding, the polish and everything it goes into doing one little corner like that, just blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. So here's the reasons why I like this one a little bit more than the other one. I love this type of, so there's nothing structurally, or there's nothing anything that's in the knife that's any different, but it's just a choice. I love this choice of the small popcorn. I just think it is absolute. Look at that. Come on, that's just gorgeous. And the way it's nearly the same both sides, but there is the difference, so it's not just it has to be worked to get to that state, and just beautiful. But this is a proper slip joint. Now, I like the fact of having that other backlock, and I think a lot of makers do the straight across one, that just a flattened one. I'll get the knife out. Let's just get the knife out. It's time to have a look at them both together. And you can see maybe what differences you like or what you don't like. There we go. There is two beautiful. In fact, I'm just going to get them up my hand so you can see them side by side. There is two beautiful. Let's work on the handles first. You can see, I think the one thing I like about the top one is that it's set further back. The secondary blade is set lower. You can especially see that here, where this one sits up a wee bit. And I know it's a simple little thing. Now, this one is lovely in hand, absolutely beautiful, plenty of room there with my finger, but that I still know that that's there. When I put my finger in, now if I come back a bit, it's fine. But I have this habit of wanting to get up close on a slip joint. I get up, that's where I want to get up. So I can feel that, but it's it's never going to stop me using it. This is not going to be, cutting a tree down or anything. But just as little facts, the bombshells. They are set in, I mean, they're a different size. I like the fact this one seems to float a little bit. These are the tiniest little details. I mean, any one of these two. But you can see the shape. It is very similar. Two makers using that same shape, but it's slightly different. A bigger bomb shield, which I like. I know a lot of people don't like bomb shields or shields on stag, but I do. When it's done like this, absolutely fine. The only part I didn't like was this here. This is the closing mechanism. You have to depress that. There you go. You can see it, depressing it. Um, I didn't like that, but apparently there's one that is flat straight across. And I think that would be the one I would go for. Now, there's only one blade locked. The secondary blade isn't locked. But, I mean, again, they're different knives from different makers. And that's the way they do their gun stocks. Um, and I'm sure Liviu has some say in what they make and how they make it. But oh, I have had such a privilege, Liviu. I just look at these finishes. Look at them. There is nothing that's out of place on these knives. This one actually seems a little bit thinner, but it's probably not. No, it's probably not. But you can see the differences even where the knife mates up. It's shallower here and deeper here. There's lots of tiny little things that make the difference up. Is that a thinner blade? I'm looking at here, which is the fatter part. It's maybe a bit of a thinner blade, or yeah. But this is swedged heavier at the bottom, whereas you got that swedge goes all along that Warncliffe, which that stood out for me. That just par excellence. Love it. But this one, it dips down into your, bringing it down to a clip point. And, I'm drooling, and that's simply all I'm doing. I am simply drooling, and I am simply honoured to have had the pleasure to review these knives, to let you see these knives. And the small differences is probably not keen on that lockback system on here, but if it was flat, I think I would change my mind. Don't know. And sometimes you have to just buy with your heart, and hopefully it comes that way. Probably the second phase is but seeing somebody who's got one and getting the privilege to have a look at theirs first to see if you like that feeling. At this sort of money, you don't want to be making mistakes. But this is not about money. This is about being a knife lover. And if we take the money out of it, these are not my knives, so it doesn't matter what they cost. I can still review them. I can still love them. I can see quality, so that when I'm starting to look more and more now this is not going to be my standard. My standard's around that, 250 to 350 custom knives made by smaller dealers at, in their workshops. And I adore that fact as well. That's another factor in it. But to get to see these, it sets a standard that you have in your own head. And it's not something you can make up in your own head. You actually have to have the knives in hand. And I'm only finding that out now, since I got that and my Romano, when they're in your hand and you see them up close and you get to pick the sort of things that you would like if you're going to get something like this made. And this is a joy. So, sorry, I've gone on probably far too long, but Takeshi Matsusaki, you are an absolute star. Ryu, who done the other one, an absolute star. I've really enjoyed seeing your knives, and just your life's work goes into one of these pieces, and you've had a blessed life because these are two beautiful pieces that you have made. Liviu, you'll never know how grateful I am. And I hope my subs feel the same way. We don't get to see this every day. We don't get the close-up look at some of these custom knives. People say, I wouldn't spend that on a knife, and that's fine. Don't. Just don't. If I had the money, I would. I would. Because this is just... I'm going on, aren't I? But I'm going to go on a wee bit more because it's just so special. And I don't genuinely know whether I'm going to ever get to see something like this again from two Japanese masters. Cutlers of the highest order. Yeah, I'm going to stop. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I didn't go too much overboard, but that's exactly how I feel inside my heart. These just give me the fizz. Complete bath bomb inside my head. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm away. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you later. Bye now. Bye.